feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. God will.
Without time-consuming introductions, we start the list with Terminator Survivors, an open-world survival game set in a post-apocalyptic scenario 4 years after Judgment Day, where players take on the role of survivors who must fight against Skynet's machines and rival human factions. In Terminator Survivors, players can choose to play alone or cooperatively with up to 4 people. The game includes base management mechanics where players need to collect resources and materials to build and strengthen their base. Stealth and caution are recommended approaches when facing Skynet's machines and other enemies. The game features an original story unfolding in the universe of the Terminator. The developers drew inspiration from the movies to create a tense and engaging atmosphere, allowing players to encounter classic franchise characters as well as new original characters.
Push forward through the tough times, 'cause I need.
Under a Rock is an open-world survival game being developed by Nordic Trolls and published by Gameforge. The game will be released for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series, although it does not have a defined release date yet. Players take on the role of explorers who have shipwrecked on a mysterious and colorful island, full of exotic creatures and peculiar vegetation. The world is procedurally generated, meaning each playthrough offers a unique experience with new challenges and resources to be discovered. The game supports up to 10 players in cooperative mode, allowing friends to explore and survive together. Players can build their own bases and customize their characters with a variety of options. The island features diverse biomes, dark caves, underwater environments, as well as natural challenges and threatening creatures. Players will face dangers such as diseases, curses, and the hostile fauna of the environment. Survival will require combat skills, resource gathering, and even culinary skills to stay fed.
It's been 50 long.
Outward 2 is an open-world RPG developed by 9 Dot Studios, serving as a continuation of the acclaimed original game, Outward. The game promises to offer a challenging experience where players will explore the world of Ori. In addition to facing various enemies, players will have to deal with physical conditions that impact gameplay. Players will be able to explore different regions and use a variety of equipment. The combat system will be expanded, allowing for greater customization of skills. Player decisions will influence the unfolding narrative, with multiple possible endings. NPCs will have behaviors that change according to the time of day and weather conditions. Outward 2 will also offer cooperative mode, both online and local, allowing players to join forces to face the challenges of the game together. With over 1.3 million units sold of the original game, Outward 2 aims to enhance the gaming experience in all aspects, promising even greater immersion and more complex challenges.
No, darling. Even ordinary people can do extraordinary things.
Ark 2 is the highly anticipated sequel to the popular open-world survival game Ark Survival Evolved. Announced in December 2020 during the Game Awards, the game generated high expectations, especially with the presence of actor Vin Diesel, who not only acts as the main character, but also serves as an executive producer of the project. The game is being developed by Studio Wildcard using the powerful Unreal Engine 5. Initially scheduled for release in 2022, the launch was postponed to late 2024. The delays were justified by the team as necessary to enhance the game's quality and ensure the well-being of the development team. Ark 2 will be an exclusive title for Xbox Series and will be available on Xbox Game Pass for at least 3 years after release. There is a possibility that the game will come to PlayStation 5 after this period of exclusivity.
You can proceed to go to work, school.
Rooted is a survival game set in a post-apocalyptic world near the year 2100. Players take on the role of survivors in a devastated environment where the previous civilization was destroyed due to global bacteriological wars. The game combines elements of exploration, construction, and combat, allowing players to save resources, build shelters, and face dangers in a world full of challenges. The game is being developed by a team of 5 developers and uses the powerful technology of Unreal Engine 5, promising an impressive visual presentation. Players can explore old urban areas, which are highly contaminated, and must protect themselves using special suits and tools. Survival involves hunting, protecting territory, and ensuring that water is not contaminated. Rooted offers gameplay modes for both single-player and multiplayer, allowing players to play alone or in cooperation with friends. Road to Vostok is a hardcore first-person survival game set in a post-apocalyptic border zone between Finland and Russia. The game is developed by Antti, a former Finnish military member, and was created in response to the popular game Escape from Tarkov. The game features a permadeath system, meaning that if the player dies, they will lose everything, including items and save files. Players must survive, loot, plan, and prepare to cross the border zone and enter Vostok, a high-risk, high-reward area. The border zone is divided into interconnected maps, each with a difficulty rating in relation to NPC artificial intelligence. As players travel east towards Vostok, the difficulty increases, but so does the quality of loot. State of Decay 3 is the highly anticipated sequel to the popular survival and horror game series developed by Undead Labs and published by Xbox Game Studios. The game was officially announced during the Xbox Games Showcase in 2020, but since then, few concrete details have been released about its development. The game promises to bring an open-world experience where players will face a scenario dominated by zombies. One of the most interesting aspects is that the narrative seems to focus on a character facing survival challenges alone, which may differentiate this title from previous ones that emphasized community survival. State of Decay 3 will be developed using Unreal Engine 5, promising advanced graphics and gameplay mechanics. Additionally, the game will be exclusive to Xbox Series and PC and will be available on Xbox Game Pass. Into the Dead, Our Darkest Days is a new survival game set in a zombie apocalypse scenario, taking place in Texas in 1980. This title is part of the popular Into the Dead franchise, which has already accumulated over 150 million downloads on mobile devices. The game is described as a side-scrolling shelter survival game, where players must guide a group of desperate survivors through a city infested with zombies. Players need to manage resources, build shelters, and protect group members while facing moral dilemmas and tough decisions that impact everyone's survival. Inspired by games like This War of Mine, Into the Dead, Our Darkest Days promises an emotional and intense narrative where player choices affect the story's development. The game combines elements of survival horror with a choice system that puts human morality at stake, creating a rich and engaging experience. Renown is an online survival game that stands out for its medieval setting. In it, players face each other in a player-versus-player environment, where survival depends on resource gathering and shelter building. Players have the freedom to attack others to steal their resources, adding a layer of intense competition to the game. Players can build anything from small farms to large fortresses, customizing their structures and equipment. The game offers a progression system that allows players to claim titles and level up, as well as a siege weapon system that can be used to attack neighbors. Building unique structures is encouraged, and players need to be prepared to defend their creations against attacks. Renown's gameplay style is comparable to other multiplayer survival games like Rust, but with a stronger focus on the medieval environment. Deathground is a new horror and survival game developed by Jaw Drop Games, promising to bring an intense and terrifying experience, especially for fans of dinosaurs and horror games. The game is inspired by classics like Alien Isolation and Jurassic Park, combining suspense and action elements in a hostile environment. Players can choose to play alone or cooperatively with up to 3 people. The main goal is to form a group of professional hunters who must infiltrate a dangerous location known as Deathground to retrieve valuable items. During the mission, players will face dinosaurs controlled by unpredictable artificial intelligence, increasing tension and the need for survival strategies. The game features weather conditions that can change drastically during sessions, forcing players to adapt quickly. Each character class has unique abilities and tools, promising a high replay factor. Derelicts is a survival experience set in a post-apocalyptic world, where players must explore and build in a hostile environment. After an incident that flooded the Earth with radiation, you and your team are tasked with investigating the origin of this catastrophic event. Players can explore a mysterious world, collect resources, and build a base to protect themselves from threats like mutant animals and other survivors. It is possible to use electricity and water to sustain the base, adding a layer of strategy to resource management. The game allows you to chop down trees, find metals, and collect other essential resources for survival. Additionally, weather events such as storms and snowstorms directly impact gameplay, requiring players to constantly adapt. Derelicts features an aesthetic that combines elements of science fiction with a survival environment, creating a tense and intriguing atmosphere. Well, that was the list. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time.